Right, the full-time whistle has just blown in Brisbane. The British and Irish Lions against the Queensland Reds. These are my immediate thoughts following the final whistle, and please give me yours in the chat down below. I will join you there. I have not had time to, really reflect on the game. These are just immediate thoughts. It'll be a lot of emotion, a lot of reaction, and that's exactly what I want from you as well. And here is, spoiler alert, the result. 52 points to 12. And despite the fact that they scored 2 points fewer than they did at the weekend and they conceded one try more, it was a big step up in performance, I felt, against a far superior side from the Force in the Queensland Reds, who gave the Lions a tricky start. But as the game went on, the power told, and we saw some ominous signs from the British and Irish Lions in a really good way, like ominous for the Wallabies. I mean, quick reactions. I mean, first off, quick reactions in no particular order. Maro Itoje was absolutely imperious, stealing lineouts, making big carries, huge interventions, scoring a try. I thought he was outstanding, and he was under some pressure. I was saying only the other day that I thought that only Dan Sheehan was absolutely nailed on to start, because Maro Itoje's performances, I mean, he's good, but didn't warrant saying, just because you're captain, you start. Oh, I mean, I think he would have started the test matches anyway, if fit, because he's captain. But that was a performance that made you go, no, he's a big-time player and absolutely nailed on. So I've got Dan Sheehan in the nailed-on camp. I've now got Maro Itoje in the absolutely nailed-on camp. And I would probably put Finn Russell up to the nailed-on camp as well. Finn Smith looked really good when he came on, but Finn Russell was class. He makes the really difficult look so effortless. And when the Lions gave a platform to play from, they did some really, really good things. They could have scored loads more. That's the real positive thing. They scored a bag load of brilliant tries. There was lots of positives. There's still areas to improve. There were scrum penalties given away. There was loads of drop balls. But they're making line breaks and they're creating opportunities. And when it clicks, which it is starting to, they're going to shred teams. And yeah, that was a big step up. I was really impressed. Right, what other thoughts? Let's go back to start before the game. Firstly, Hugo Keenan wasn't able to take his place in the starting lineup. He got a bug. The guy cannot catch a break. I guess at least it wasn't another injury or a recurrence of his other injury, so it should just be short-term and he'll be able to play. But that means Hugo Keenan and Blair Kinghorn have yet to start a game on tour. There's only 3 matches left before the test match. So in other words, really, the game before the test match, whoever's starting against the Wallabies, you wouldn't expect to start. So in all probability, well, I don't know. Does Andy Farrell have to prioritise which one he thinks is going to be his test starter and play them twice? Or is he going to give them both one start each? And then, I mean, basically, bottom line is you could well be picking a test fullback who has only started one game on tour. And that is what I was minded to say when I saw that Keenan was out Elliot Daly gets another run at 15. I was minded to say, well, that really enhances the argument that Elliot Daly should start at fullback for the Lions in the first test at least. Only it looks like Elliot Daly's out. And looking at the amount of ice that was on his arm, it looked like a slightly innocuous moment, but it looks like it could be maybe a minor fracture, hairline fracture or something, but could potentially enough to keep him out for a few weeks. We'll wait and see, but it was definitely his forearm he was holding. So it's unlikely to be muscular. Loads of ice on it. He had it elevated on a little, like a foam pad thing, and his face was grimacing. So, I mean, that would be so harsh for Elliot Daly, who's been brilliant, if he is out. But that leaves the fullback position wide open. And let's just jump forward to if Elliot Daly is out, who comes in next? I think your few options are, because George Furbank would have been the choice, but he's not been fit, hasn't played. So it looks to me like it's Blair Murray if you want a fullback who can also cover wing, or it's Tom Jordan if you want an occasional fullback who's more of a centre, can cover 10. I'd probably go Blair Murray. but maybe the utility of Tom Jordan. It's just that suddenly that number 23 shirt, and that could change whether the Lions go for a 6-2 split or a 5-3 split. And again, I'm making lots of speculation now based on not knowing whether Elliot Daly is out or not. I hope he's not. Let me know who you think the next cab off the rank would be. Elsewhere, Jack Morgan was absolutely brilliant. He got man of the match. Don't begrudge him that. Brilliant try, and it's just quite nice. The only Welshman on tour. I said in a little TikTok video that I put up the other day, it feels like the start of a Hollywood movie with Jack Morgan. That Thomas Williams was the only other Welshman. Now it's all down to Jack Morgan, unless Blair Murray joins him. It's all down to Jack Morgan to carry the weight of a nation that has been dragged through the mud a little bit and had been given a kick in the last couple of years on a low ebb. And could he just go and get the Test starting jersey, maybe be player of the series? And then I was wildly speculating World Player of the Year after that. But I'll tell you what, he did everything he could in this 80 minutes to try and get himself up the pecking order in what is a fiercely contested back row unit. And yeah, Jack Morgan did everything he could. Brilliant turnovers, good carries, 21 tackles. And I thought him and Marrow were the two standouts. Bundy Aki had a strong second half, which he needed because he wasn't great in the first half. Right, I'll go through the game a little bit more, but let me take it back even to basic level. As I said, in no particular order going through this. Sky Sports, as the broadcaster, they're trying loads of things, and I like what they're trying. I thought, firstly, and on the massive positives, Ronan O'Gara and Dan Bigger, like it a lot. Two guys that see the game brilliantly, call the game brilliantly, and kind of, as you're watching it, it's more than just co-commentary, isn't it? They were kind of revealing what's going on, and Ronan O'Gara had that from a coach's point of view, but they both had it from a playmaker's point of view. I thought it was really good. Loved it. Actually, I'm just going to give a shout for my other channel, FR UK Rugby, where we have free live rugby all next season of the French second division. And Dan Bigger in the playoffs just a few weeks ago did join me and was my co-commentator. I think it was his first proper commentary gig. And I just thought he was brilliant then. And he's going to be ace for the rest of this series as well. So that was really, really good. Other things on Sky Sports. What is it with all the management chat? Especially Sam Warburton. Has Sam Warburton been reading loads of business books? I've never heard USP, KPI, IQ as many times as I hear it from Sam Warburton. I don't know. It's like soon he's going to be saying, yeah, you know what, Andy Farrell will want an ROI by EOD, if not ASAP. Come on, Sam. I don't know whether it feels like he's playing a game. He's having a little bet with his mates. Let me see how many management speak buzzwords and little acronyms I can get into my analysis. But his analysis is great. I will. So that's loads of positives on the Sky front. What's going on with the stats cards? Like the British and Irish Lions top trumps. Come on. We're not 10. And the momentum graph made me laugh. Because basically it's, look, here's the momentum of the first half, how it ebbed and flowed. And basically it was like, we'll put a graph going up if they score, and then we'll put a graph going the other way if the Lions score. So basically all the graph did was say, yeah, Reds scored early, and then the Lions got better as the game went on. Which you can see that just by watching the rugby and looking at the score as well. As for the Reds, I think Les Kiss will be disappointed. They gave it a good crack for about 20 minutes, but just couldn't live with the power that the Lions had. They put so much energy into that opening 20 minutes, massive shots going in everywhere, and they were winning the collisions, and as a result, got a couple of tries. Hunter Paisami, the entire 80 minutes, was fantastic and is a contender to start in the centre for Australia. They've got really good options there. He did everything he could, but they just could not live with and in the second half, they were kept scoreless. And that should be one of the most pleasing parts from the Lions' perspective. They've solved problems themselves on the park. I'm sure Andy Farrell and the coaches had a bit of a say at half-time as well. But both second halves in the last two games have been excellent. That speaks to the strengths that the Lions can bring off the bench, but it also speaks to the, in Sam Warburton speak, the rugby IQ of the guys out on the field, that they can solve problems, and more than that, the power that they have got. And yeah, as soon as they win the collisions, as soon as the ball is quick, they were shredding the Reds. It was really cool. Liked it a lot. And defence. I mean, there were times where I was thinking the defence wasn't very good. But that was more one-on-one tackles than system errors. But actually, they kept the Reds to 12 points and 0 in the second half. And that's really cool. So, yeah, the scrum penalties, that'll be one issue. They lost a few. Handling errors, that'll be another issue. They messed up a few. But that is just ways that the Lions can take steps on. Restart's still a little bit shaky, although not as much as at the weekend. So they're taking steps forward. There was that early try for Jeff Tumanga-Allen, and that was just speed of ball and winning the collisions, which is exactly how the Lions did the damage later on. Aki got held up on the back of that maul. That's one of those times. I am a forward, and generally speaking, I understand making the 10-man maul, 10, 11-man maul when you get the backs in to get a little bit of an extra nudge over. And Bundy Aki, I mean, he's the size of most forwards, but I'm never as confident with backs with their hands on the ball in the maul, because I don't know, there's just that many reps, that many times you've done it, and I don't know how Bundy Aki did not score that try. If he'd just gone like half a foot to his right, he would have scored it easily, but it was held up. And I learned that Dan Bigger is about the only person, as far as I'm aware, the only person in the world who really agrees with the goal line dropout law for being held up over the line. I, for what it's worth, hate it, but Dan Bigger loves it. So, it'd be boring if we all had the same opinion. Then there was like Tom Curry getting smoked with big defensive shots from the Reds. There was Jack Morgan getting the ball ripped out of his hands. And you thought, crikey, what's going on here? Another scrum penalty. But then finally, the Lions got a bit of mojo. Tommy Freeman with a try. Forwards tied in the Reds. Simple hands, well executed. Russell with really slick handling, great passing. Russell and Daly to Freeman, try time. But then Josh Fluke with a bit of a fluke, that little nudge through. Duan van der Merwe, that is one guy that has not taken his chance. Yeah, he scored a try and he did a few nice things, made a couple of nice breaks, but I don't know. I mean, I'm an Englishman. I know how good Duan van der Merwe can be because he does it all the time against England, but it's not really happening for him in this one. And he was just in no man's land and just, to me, lacked a little bit of, I don't know, he just didn't want to put his head in the spokes to get in there and win that ball close to his own line. Just stood and watched Fluke go over for the try. Andrew Porter with a try. Again, quick ball, and it all gets very simple when you win the collision and get quick ball. Duan van der Merwe with a try. Nearly a freak of a try for the Reds with the ball bouncing back off a post. That's actually happened in a game I've played. And it was only then that I realised that was a law. If the ball bounces back off a post and stays in field, play on. I don't know why. I remember at the time when it happened in a game I was playing in, I thought that hitting the post in the dead ball area meant the ball was automatically dead, but it's not. But anyway, try was not scored. And then really good attack, but poor accuracy. Hugh Jones with a bad pass that was kind of to no one, and Ronan Kelleher knocked it on. 9 handling errors in the first half. They're 21-12 up. And you thought, God, more kind of issues that they need to sort through. But second half, massive improvement. It clicked. The physicality, the speed of the ball, the different running options. Bundy Aki doing what Bundy Aki should be on the field to do and be given the ball and just get some go forward. And that just meant everything else fell into place. Jamison Gibson Park with that lovely try. Quick ball from Aki. Gibson Park snipes. Inside ball to Itoje. Over they go. And then there was impetus from the bench. All the guys that came on really added something. Jack Morgan got his try. Again, that was from a quick ball from winning collisions. Maro Itoje, absolutely superb. Stealing ball on the deck, stealing lineouts. And then Tommy Freeman scoring a try. Scrum penalties, like I say, will be a bit of a concern. But overall, loads and loads of positives. And where does that leave the British and Irish Lions squad? Match day starting squad. Well, as I say, Sheehan, Itoje, Russell, nailed on. I think Gibson Park came through and showed there wasn't that much rustiness there. He's going to be fine, so you can put him in the 9 jersey as well. Itoje's second row partner, that's up for debate. What type of back row composition do you want to have? That is up for debate. Front row, Will Stewart did some good, some bad. Andrew Porter, some good, some bad. That first Reds try, Andrew Porter just got run over by someone, bad missed tackle on a personal level, but then he did loads and loads of good stuff. I think James Lowe's nailed on at left wing now, because he's an out-and-out specialist left winger, and Duhan van der Merwe is not bringing it, so Lowe as well. So what's that? Sheehan nailed on, Itoje nailed on, Gibson Park, Russell, Lowe. Those are the 5 that I've got. I would have said Elliot Daly nailed on for the number 23 shirt. He might be going home. All to play for. Centres, back row, second row partner, front row composition, the props anyway, all up for grabs. And there's 3 games left, and there's another game in only a few days' time. I'll be back with some player ratings and some more thoughts when I've had another watch of the game and seen what was going on. These are just my immediate thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you on the next one.